Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Friday. You've made it to the end of the week. Your reward, 3 hours of sports talk coming your way here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our video streaming channels, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, and WIBW News on Facebook. However, wherever, whenever you're joining the program today, thank you so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuy will be along in a little bit. Brendan Dworzynski is out today. We are with you until 6 o'clock. Then we'll have a little overtime. Been a while since we brought you some 580 Sports Talk overtime, but we'll tide you over until 6:30, at which point we'll hand things off to the Royals Baseball Network. Hopefully the I-70 series treats the Royals better than their trip to the south side of Chicago. Game 1 of 3 tonight between the Royals and the Cardinals. Interleague action between the Missouri foes as the Royals try to snap a 4-game losing streak tonight. First pitch is set for 7:15. Pregame coverage again at 6:30 right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Thankfully, today, we do not have to lead the show with another dissection of another disheartening Royals defeat. Last night's really worse than the previous two. At least with the previous two, they were one-run games. Last night was a 6-2 loss for the Royals. And remember I said on the show yesterday, this would be a lot easier job. This would make a lot easier sports talk radio content. We could make more grand and pointed declarations about a team if they would just go get their teeth kicked in. That wasn't a challenge I was issuing to the Kansas City Royals to go get their teeth kicked in. That was not me expressing my wish that the Royals would go look totally sluggish for 9 innings and that Chris Bubich would pitch like dog's tail and that the Royals would lose a game that they never really felt like they had any chance to win following the third inning. That was not a challenge. That was not a request. But the Royals did do it. And when we do get around to the Royals later on in the program, which we will, again, maybe this will read as too optimistic for the moment. Maybe it will read as too optimistic for you. But I kind of think the Royals, after all of those one-run losses that really did feel like they could have gone the other way, if not for a break or two here, a pitch or two there, I kind of think they needed to get slugged in the jaw and knocked on the canvas to sort of wake them up to the idea that the ball they're playing isn't good enough. Because sometimes you can feel like, gosh, we're right there. We're right on the cusp. Oh, these one-run losses. So frustrating, but we're right there. We're in every single game. Sometimes you just need to get knocked flat on your back. That cold ice water to the face to make you realize, hey, we better pick this up because it's not late yet, but if we want it to get late early, this is how it would look if this continues. So maybe it can be a good thing for the Royals that they just got swept by a team that they had been 22-4 against over the previous 2 seasons and now find themselves 2-5 against this year. One of many reasons these are not your older brothers, Chicago White Sox. But we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. We'll also preview tonight's series opener against the Cardinals, who went into this year not trying to be good, yet are? What sense does that make? So the Cardinals actually good, or is this Cardinal devil magic? Are they doing it with mirrors here in April and May in what looks to be baseball's best division? We'll talk a little bit about that, preview the weekend, pitching matchups, all that. We will have some baseball later on in the show. But folks, we've got a Kansas City Chiefs schedule to talk about today. And boy, what a time for that to arrive, given the recent fate of the hometown 9, as it were. The NFL schedule release made official last night, and we have the schedule for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll break it down. What stands out? What segments of the schedule look manageable? What segments of the schedule look tough? What are you thinking for a win total? Let me know your prediction. Want to hear them on the text line. Want to hear them in the YouTube live chat as well. We'll go through the schedule. We'll talk about it. And then later on in the show, we'll give our confidence rankings on the Chiefs' 17 games for 2026. You guys ever done a confidence pool where you have the games for a certain week, and say there are 14 games during a bye week, or no, let's just 32 teams in the league, right? You get 16 games in a week where everybody plays. So the result you're most confident in, like, for example, if the Seahawks played the Dolphins, the defending champs played the worst team in the league, you would probably say that you would have 16 points. That would be the most confidence you would ascribe to a result. Seattle beating Miami, where you might have much less confidence in, say, if you want to pick Kansas City to win at Buffalo, you might only give that one 1 point, right? You assign every game a point total from 16 for the most confident all the way down to 1. We're going to do that with the Chiefs schedule. 17 being the most confident the Chiefs are going to win the game, 1 being the least confident that the Chiefs are going to win the game. Curious, again, as to what you think, and we'll go through that in the 4 o'clock hour. We've got 2 great guests today. Joining us to talk Chiefs at the bottom of this 3 o'clock hour is our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Great day to have Matt on. We'll talk about the schedule with him, what stands out about the schedule, and anything else we can think of to talk about from the latest developments from the Chiefs kingdom. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com joins us at the bottom of this 3 o'clock hour. At the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, the second leg of horse racing's Triple Crown is this weekend, the Preakness Stakes. And if there's a big horse race coming up, you know we've got to have our horse racing correspondent, Andy Weingarten, join the show. Again, no Triple Crown this year. The Kentucky Derby winner has already opted out of the Preakness. So we'll discuss that big picture, how big a problem that is for horse racing, and we will look ahead to the Preakness. I will say this, no spoilers, but the Preakness definitely has a better collection of horse names than the Kentucky Derby did this year. Some incredible horse monikers at the Preakness. Look forward to getting into that. Our old friend Andy Weingarten will join us at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll also do our typical Friday shenanigans, 580 Sports Talk headlines, including a playoff roundup. We'll do What Is Wrong With You, crown a weekly champion. We got On Second Thought and Changed My Mind to get to as well. Plus, of course, your interaction with the program today is invited and encouraged. Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. Can also hop in with us in the live chat on our YouTube channel. The name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. We're picking up steam on our number of subscribers. We are now 37 subscribers away from 1,000. Can you get us closer today? If you have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, today's a great day to do it. Go hit that subscribe button on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. And while you're watching the live show today, hop in the live chat, say hello, interact with your fellow listeners. Just hang out while you're listening to / watching the program. Honestly, you don't even really have to watch the video if you don't want to. Just leave the video up. You'll hear the audio. You don't have to. I mean, I'm just sitting here. Like, I'm not doing like magic tricks or 3-card money or anything like real fascinating. I'm just sitting here. So you don't have to like actively watch the video, but actively be in the chat. Say hi. Interact with your fellow listeners. We got Mark B in the chat early today. Good to see you. Andrew is in. Christopher, Carl, our friend from Overbrook is in the chat today. Mark H, I think I said. Paul is in early as well. Vance, good to see all of you. Look forward to hearing from you throughout the day on the live chat in our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk. In case you have missed it, and I don't know how you would have, because the NFL is in the business of inventing holidays, right? We know that they're really taking a heat check this year, inventing the concept of Thanksgiving Eve so they can get a game on Wednesday night for Netflix. But the NFL is in the business of inventing important days for your calendar. And over the years, they have turned the date of their schedule release into something like not an actual holiday, but a day that stands out on the sports calendar, even if you don't necessarily know when it's going to be any given year. I think we found out it was going to be today, like a week ago, which is kind of wild when you think about it. But also, like for other sports, the NBA has taken to like making a bit of a day out of its schedule release. Major League Baseball puts theirs out at like 2 a.m. on a Monday. Like, oh, yeah, here's schedule for next year. Game times later. Primetime games, yeah, we'll figure that out later on. But there's your schedule. Enjoy. No pomp, no circumstance. Maybe you prefer that. But the NFL certainly knows how to make a big deal out of their schedule release day/night. And so it is that we now know the alignment. We knew the opponents all along, but now we know the alignment of the Chiefs' schedule. In case you missed it, let's run it down for you. Season opener, which we knew ahead of time, will be Monday Night Football at home against the Broncos on September 14th. Back-to-back primetime home games to open the season. Sunday Night Football at home against the Colts on September 20th. Then back-to-back road games. Week 3, trip to Miami to play the Dolphins. Week 4, trip to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Those are both Sunday games. Dolphins is a noon kick. Raiders is a late kick. Then a Week 5 bye, followed by a Week 6 home game late afternoon against the Chargers. Week 7, it's a road primetime game for the first time, as the Chiefs will take on the defending champion Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, October 25th. Week 8, another road game, back-to-back road trips for the second time, off to Denver for the second meeting of the year against the Broncos November 1st. That's a late afternoon game. Week 9, a home noon kickoff, first of the year, against the New York Jets, followed by another noon kickoff the week later, November 15th, at Atlanta against the Falcons. In Week 11, it's back home for the Chiefs, another noon kick at home on a Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Then a 3-game road trip late November, early December, with back-to-back Thursday night games. First, on Week 12, it's Thanksgiving night against the Bills in Buffalo. Then the following week, another Thursday night game. So back-to-back Thursdays. They did this to the Cowboys last year, I think. They played Thanksgiving and then the next Thursday after. So this is not unprecedented. But the Chiefs will go right back on the road the following Thursday, December 3rd, to play the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football. Week 14, another road game 10 days later in Cincinnati against the Bengals. That'll be a late kick. That'll be a Fox game, which is really, that doesn't sit well with me at all. A big AFC game late in the season on Fox? No, PU, absolutely not. An affront to God. Anyhow, the Chiefs return home in Week 15 for Monday Night Football against the New England Patriots, the defending AFC champs. That's on December 21st. The short week keeps the Chiefs at home. Week 16, they are at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Weeks 17 and 18 are now both flex schedule weeks. Week 18 had been for the last couple of years. Now Week 17 is too. The Chiefs wind up with divisional play. They are at the Chargers in Week 17 and at home against the Raiders in Week 18. What jumped out to you first? I'll tell you what jumped out to me first. That Charmin soft first 4 weeks followed by the bye. Could not ask for a better introduction to the 2026 season for a team welcoming back an injured quarterback and licking its wounds from a disappointing 6-11 last year. Especially considering, as we stand here today, the Chiefs are hopeful, but absolutely not certain that Patrick Mahomes is going to play in all 4 of those games. Definitely a risky play by the NFL to put the Chiefs in prime time the first 2 weeks of the season, risking that one or both of those games could end up quarterbacked by Justin Fields. You could view it as a vote of confidence, though the NFL has strongly denied such a thing. But those first 4 games, home against the Broncos, prime time, home against the Colts, prime time, at the Dolphins, who I think are the worst team in the NFL, and at the Raiders, who have been the worst team in the NFL, though they'll be a little better this year. Then the bye could not line up much better for the Chiefs to ease their way into the 2026 season. I've never loved having the early bye, but again, if you're going to have it in a year where your quarterback is recovering from major knee surgery and maybe doesn't play in the preseason. Get those first 4 games in, then get a bye, and then hopefully Mahomes is 100% by the time the rest of the schedule comes around. The other thing that stands out is the 3-game road trip late in the year with those back-to-back Thursday night games. Going to Buffalo on Thanksgiving, going to the Rams on Thursday night. Quick aside, the Rams have a brutal schedule. A brutal schedule with an old quarterback. 2 of their last 3 games are against the Seahawks. I think they saved the Seahawks games for the very end of the season. And I guess somebody asked Sean McVay about that last night. The Rams must have had a press conference, and they asked McVay about those games, and he's like, yeah, let's pump the brakes. We got to get there in one piece first. Like, the Rams on December 3rd could look very different than the Rams that exist on paper on May 15th. Like, that would be when you want to play them, is in December. But it's no long week. You don't get the half bye, so to speak. You go Thursday, travel to one end of the country, travel to the other coast of the country. Then after the half bye, you go to Cincinnati, a place that's been hostile over the years to the Chiefs. It is a stretch to refer to that stretch as being season defining, probably an overstatement. But for a Chiefs team that over the years, in its contending years, has prided itself on hitting its stride as fall turns to winter and as November turns to December, we're definitely going to see what the Chiefs are made of in those 3 games. Because the stretch before that is pretty navigable. Week 6 through 11, you have home games against the Chargers, Jets, and Cardinals. Probably ought to go 3-0. Like, I don't think the Cardinals or the Chargers rather, are so much better than the Chiefs that I would assume that they could come into Arrowhead, beat the Chiefs. Like, that can be a stretch. You go 3-0 at home. The road games are Seattle, Denver, and Atlanta. Even if you go 1-2 in those 3 games, entirely possible, you still get out 4-2 in that stretch, and you feel pretty good, and then you go to Buffalo. But you go to Buffalo on a short week after playing Arizona, which ought to be, if we're being really honest here, a layup for the Chiefs. Arizona at home should be a layup. So you get a little light work before Thanksgiving, and then you've got bang, bang, bang. 3 teams, 2 with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, and 1 with an offense that could maybe win a Super Bowl if they figure out there's another side of the ball there in Cincinnati. Who knows? Again, I don't think it's a fair statement to say, well, those 3 games are going to define the Chiefs season. I mean, if they go 0-3 in them, they might, but that is certainly the stretch of the season where we will start to learn who these Chiefs are. And I kind of thought that would be the case anyway, given, again, some of the changes that have been made to this roster. This is a more overhauled roster than the Chiefs have started a season with, probably since they started going to AFC Championship games and winning Super Bowls and doing everything they've done with Mahomes. And then, of course, you have the element of Mahomes' comeback. And how much offseason work is he able to do? And how ready is he for week 1? Does he even play week 1? So there's a real chance that the Chiefs would have anyway been feeling like weeks 10, 11, 12. All right, now we're starting to round into form. Now we're becoming us. Now we're figuring out who we are, what we do, who helps us, how the rookies fit in, how the offense looks different with Kenneth Walker, all that stuff. And the league says, all right, well, we're going to see because we're going to send you to Buffalo, LA, and Cincinnati in 3 straight weeks. I think there are only 3 other teams in the league that have 3-game road trips. It is not a particularly common quirk of scheduling, but it is certainly, there's no denying it. Sometimes you can get a full segment of sports talk radio out of, well, what's the toughest part of this team's schedule? Yeah, it's that. End of story. After that stretch, though, the Chiefs close with 3 out of 4 at home. I would bet that if the Chiefs are in the playoff mix, that one of those last 2 games, probably week 17 against the Chargers, might end up in an exclusive window, might end up a Saturday game that week. But you end with 3 out of 4 against New England and San Francisco teams that I don't think are like Leviathans that the Chiefs are just not going to be able to cope with. Chiefs will even get an extra day's rest coming off that road trip to be able to play New England at home on that Monday night, week 15. I think it's a good schedule after the last few years where the Chiefs' greatness, their dominance, had almost become something like a curse. because the NFL wanted to get them in all these exclusive windows and all these primetime games. They played 7 primetime games last year, which is the most a team has ever played. And I don't even know if that counted Thanksgiving. It doesn't. It doesn't count Thanksgiving. So that was another special game. And the travel. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago that Mitch Holtz was fond of pointing out that the Chiefs had played in every possible time frame and time window that existed in the league. This is a much more straightforward schedule, travel-wise, rest-wise. Yes, there are a lot of primetime games, but they're not front-loaded by any means. This feels like a bit of a fairer shake. It is not an easy schedule. In fact, if you look at strength of schedule based on last year's winning percentage, which, I mean, that's a useful metric until they start playing the games, right? But if you look at win percentage based on last year's records, Chiefs have the 5th toughest schedule in football. But I think the alignment of the games, particularly the soft start to the season, back-to-back home prime time, those are favorable spots for the home team, and then back-to-back road games against teams who have not been very good, and then the bye. I don't think the Chiefs could have asked for a better opening month scenario than the one they got. And if they start hot, which they've been known to do, look out. But what do you think of the schedule? What do you think this looks like record-wise? 785-272-9429 is the number. 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Get your predictions in. What do you think? I love every fan base does this, right? And every fan base says the same thing. Yeah, looking like about, it used to be 11-5, but now they play 17 games. So now it's looking like 12-5 to me. Looking like the Super Bowl. Every fan base does it. Every fan base deludes themselves to some degree. Except it's not delusion when you've won as much as the Chiefs have. So what is your record prediction? 580 Sports Talk, the YouTube live chat. 785-272-9429 is the text line number. Matt Derrick from Chiefs Digest, our Chiefs Insider, is going to join us in just a little bit. We got a lot more to come on this Friday. Glad you're here on 580 Sports Talk. 3:31 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting underway on this Friday. Well, Pitbull sets the mood for a Friday nicely. Those are generally at random. We just got a whole pool of rejoin music, and so it's entirely at random. And so starting a Friday with Pitbull, that feels good. That feels right. It feels like the machine's sending us a message to enjoy our day. We're going to enjoy the Chiefs season. What's your record prediction? I asked for those, and you delivered. Text line, we've got one 11-6 prediction in from the 785. In the live chat on YouTube, Mark B says 12-5. Mark H agrees, sees 12-5 as the record. Andrew says, I think 11-6. Is it enough to get the division? Probably not, but at least a wild card spot. Vegas has them at 10.5 wins as the over-under. I would take the over. Yeah, on the one hand, they did just win 6 games. That would be quite a jump. On the other hand, last I checked, Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback and was going to play in more games than not play, right? At the very least, I feel comfortable saying that. So I always feel good about an over bet on Chiefs wins, even if last year that would have lost you some money. Carl's the negative Nelly in the group. He's not really negative. He says 10-7 Chiefs, they get in the playoffs, but another team wins the conference. He's not negative. He's just the low man so far on our predictions. I think 10-11 probably feels right for a prediction, but we'll go ahead and I will explain what I think based on the schedule when we do our confidence rankings of the schedule. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. Well, I've got every game ranked from 17 points, most certain of victory, to 1 point, least certain of victory, or again, if you want to frame it a different way, most certain of defeat, I suppose. Christopher says, I think they'll go 18 and -1. They'll be so awesome, they'll have a negative loss. And then on seriousness, 11-6 for the Chiefs. I again, like I said, I think that that feels about right. This is not an easy schedule, but again, I think the best thing about it is the easy start. The second best thing about it is they're not playing on Christmas. I'm very glad they are not playing on Christmas this year. I wonder if the Chiefs are upset. I know they have talked openly about, we want to play on every Christmas. We like that as we want to make that a tradition around here. And the league, whenever they were asked to comment about it, say, we don't know if we really want to do that. And not so much about the Chiefs as it is we don't want to turn one team into the Christmas team, like the Lions and the Cowboys or the Thanksgiving team, or teams, as it were. I was still a little surprised because Chiefs are even coming off of 6-11. They're still a meal ticket. You can see how many 6-win teams out there are getting as many primetime games as the Chiefs got. So there is that belief. The league can say whatever they want to say publicly, but the way the Chiefs were scheduled certainly suggests that the league believes Patrick Mahomes will play week 1 and believes the Chiefs will be really good. And they can say otherwise. They can claim that had no bearing on how they made the schedule. I don't believe them. I don't think there's any chance that they didn't ring Clark Hunt and say, hey, listen, you what are you hearing about 15? You think, is he going to play? What's the story there? And if anything, their hedge was putting both of the first 2 games in prime time, because what they want is that moment when Patrick Mahomes runs out of the tunnel at Arrowhead for the first time since his injury. They want that moment. The league wants that in a primetime situation, and can hardly blame them, right? I think even if you're a fan of another team, you understand that's going to be one of the stories of the 2026 season. So yeah, you want that moment. So the league is prepared for it to maybe not be week 1, but it better be week 2. That's kind of how I feel about it. I think that's what the scheduling was, and I don't believe the league when they say they didn't consider Mahomes' health in the process. We'll see what Matt Derrick thinks. Our Chiefs insider is going to join us after this timeout here on 580 Sports Talk. We go to Kansas City. We welcome in our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Matt joins the program every Friday at this time, and today joins us the day after the NFL's schedule release. So we know the order of the games for the Kansas City Chiefs. Matt, what was the first thing that jumped out to you when you saw the Chiefs schedule presented for weeks 1 through 18?
Well, it's hard not to notice every time, no matter what you're doing, but the bye week jumps out first. So I'm always checking to see when that bye week is. And I was like, boy, these guys, nobody's going to like a week 5 bye week. But I also think that my second kind of thing I noticed is that it looked like there was a method to the madness of the NFL. And I know they're going to say that they don't necessarily tailor schedules for teams based on injuries to players, but this sure looked like they tailored a schedule to a team based on an injury to a player.
Yeah, very, very generous first 4 games of the season. 2 primetime home games, which always favor the home team. 2 very winnable road games. I almost think they could play Justin Fields and beat both Miami and the Raiders. And then, again, I'm with you. Like, nobody likes the week 5 bye. It's the first time, I think, since 2010 the Chiefs have had the earliest possible bye week. But given the status of Mahomes, I would imagine that even if he is back week 1, in the best case scenario, okay, plays 4 weeks, then gets a week off. That might be for the best for Mahomes' healing process. That early bye might really be beneficial this time around.
Yeah, you're not crazy. I mean, that is absolutely true. And if there's a scenario where Patrick Mahomes doesn't start the season and you're opening with Justin Fields in those first 4 games, and then you get the bye week, and then Patrick Mahomes returns after the bye. Those are at least 3 winnable games for sure, and maybe you can win all 4, like you said. I mean, week 1 at home, that's going to be favorable no matter what the situation. And Justin Fields is not the worst quarterback in the world. So there's opportunities there, and the front end of the schedule, it's built really for, Mahomes, it seems like, in this team to kind of get itself going a little bit. Not that there's not tough games in the first 8 weeks of the season, but you get a couple of tough games, and then honestly, you get a 3-game stretch there. Where you have the Jets, the Falcons, and Cardinals, all noon games. Those are all going to be winnable games before you go into the gauntlet. I mean, this team's got an opportunity to bank some wins and get started and get onto an early run. And if they can do that, then maybe that's all it's going to take to kind of survive the really tough second half of the season.
Our guest is Matt Derrick. He is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, covers the Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com, and joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline every Friday at this time. You called it a gauntlet. I assume you're referring to the 3 straight road games, weeks 12 through 14. Buffalo on Thanksgiving, the Rams the following Thursday, and then the trip to Cincinnati. Chiefs have always been a team that has spoke openly about wanting to play their best football as November turns to December. I guess they'd better be, right, Matt?
Yeah, and I mean, I think the gauntlet extends all the way to week 17, because then even the Patriots and 49ers at home are potentially not cakewalks. And then you got the Chargers that on the road. Hey, that could conceivably be for the division and have some serious playoff implications. So that's going to be on the road. It's a tough stretch, and there's some things that, hey, are advantageous. I normally wouldn't necessarily be a huge fan of back-to-back Thursday games, but in this scenario, it's not terrible. The worst part about it, honestly, Dan, is that you're going from at Buffalo to at Los Angeles. That's a nightmare. But then you also get a little bit of a mini bye week before going to the Bengals. That's a little bit of an advantage. So again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but that's both that 3-week on the road stretch and then that 6-week big picture stretch. And it's going to be a tough one.
What you just said there kind of sums up how I feel about the whole schedule. Like, on paper, it's the 5th toughest schedule in terms of opponents' winning percentage from last year in all of the NFL. Yet when I see how it's laid out, even the things that look tricky or look less than desirable, like the early bye or those 3 straight road games, I still come away with how the schedule was aligned, Matt, thinking, well, gosh, that could have been worse. Or, well, gosh, that's actually not so unfavorable or as unfavorable as it could have been the way these games were aligned, when these games were chosen to be scheduled. I think there's a lot in there that almost feels like the NFL is saying, yeah, we kind of loaded the box against you guys last year. We're gonna back it up a little bit this year.
Yeah, there's still a loaded box to it. I mean, you can't avoid it. The Chiefs are playing a lot of playoff teams from last year, and the NFL wants the opportunity to put the Chiefs in as many primetime windows as possible, and just prime windows in general. A lot of 325 games too, and it's nice that you only have one holiday game. I don't know of anyone that's really terribly disappointed to not be playing on Christmas, especially anybody who works on Christmas for those games. So the 4-year streak of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day has come to an end. But yeah, this conceivably you could look at this as, hey, this team could easily get off to a 4-0 start. Then they're going to have the Chargers at home, maybe 5-0, conceivably 4-1, reasonable. And then you go into Seattle and Denver. You got 2 tough games, but like we talked about, Jets, Falcons, and Cardinals. 8-2 after week 11 wouldn't be, I don't think it's out of the range of possibilities. I mean, even 7-3, I think you would say is maybe what you'd hope to be, and anything less than that is going to be probably a little bit disappointing. But 8-2 is possible. I wouldn't even scoff at it if you told me this team was 9-1 after 10 games. It's distinctly possible. Now, like we said, you're probably going to lose some games in that stretch of those 3 road games. I'm never going to take the Chiefs to win at Buffalo in the regular season,
right?
And they've got some other ones, but hey, you're right. It's a unique schedule. It's different from last year. If you're playing good football at the end of the season, that's what you want to be doing. And last year, obviously, the Chiefs weren't playing good football at the beginning of the season, and it hurt them to have such a front-loaded schedule.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. He is our Chiefs insider and covers the Chiefs for ChiefsDigest.com. You made the point, no Christmas game this year. Chiefs do play on Thanksgiving for a second straight year, but not on Christmas. We know that Clark Hunt and Mark Donovan have both publicly stated their desire to play on Christmas and have that be something of a tradition for the Chiefs. Do you know how much of a push the Chiefs made to be on Christmas again this year? And do you know if the Thanksgiving game is either a consolation prize or if this is just the NFL deciding to go in a bit of a different direction on Christmas this year?
Yeah, I think I certainly got the sense that, hey, the Chiefs were like, we're fine playing on Christmas. Of course, the Chiefs were also like, we're fine playing in Madrid. So they were raising their hands for a couple of things that they didn't get. And that could very well have been the NFL saying this is their concession to maybe creating a schedule that's maybe Mahomes friendly, because it's certainly easier to schedule teams, when you put them into primetime windows and schedule them out of, big windows and everything. But, so if the Chiefs, if they have a down season, you don't want them playing necessarily both on Thanksgiving and Christmas again. And, being a team that's out of it, so giving them just the one on Thanksgiving, I think is significant. It's at least acknowledging, hey, we still want you to try and draw some eyeballs, but we're not going to put everything on the Chiefs for all the holidays. And that one in particular, putting the Bills and Chiefs in the primetime slot following Eagles and Cowboys and Lions and Bears. The NFL's taken advantage of the Lions and Bears both being decent teams right now and throwing the Eagles and Cowboys in there. Last year, they took Chiefs and Cowboys because they were trying to get the most watched regular season game in NFL history. They got it. We were talking, my co-host on 41 is the Mic on our podcast, Nick Jacobs. We did an interview that's going to be available on Sunday with Blake Jones, who's one of the senior directors of broadcasting for the NFL. And he said, last year they thought they had an opportunity to really do something with Chiefs and Cowboys to see what they could do on Thanksgiving. And yeah, he conceded that this year they're loading up that Thanksgiving to kind of, again, see what they can do and just make and really capitalize on the NFL being in Thanksgiving being what they do and being really the headline for the entire season, being that Thanksgiving Day.
The last couple of years, the Chiefs' schedule has had such extreme outliers, from the gymnastics the league had to do with the schedule to get them the Christmas game 2 years ago, to having to travel to Rio last year. Heck, they go to Germany 3 years ago. There have been these games have been all over the schedule, all over the time slots, all over the globe. Could more schedule routine? We play Sunday, then we play Sunday, then we play Sunday. We play on the road, we play at home. We're not going to a special venue to play this year. Do you think that could ultimately be beneficial to this year's team, which has had to kind of overcome some of that extreme scheduling, I think, the last few years?
Yeah, I think it really could, Dan. And I know that probably the one person in that building that's the most excited about this schedule, the way it came out, is probably Andy Reid, because there's nobody that treasures routine more than Andy does. So the fact that he's, for the most part this season, it's got a couple of times when he's going to have to, play on a Monday or a Thursday, but, not that many times. I mean, really, they get one of their two Monday night games is the first one of the season. So that's not really an outlier. I mean, you're not changing your practice week really by and large for that. You don't have to modify it or lose a practice day or anything. So that's going to be good. Even having those two Thanksgiving days or Thursday games in a row, I mean, gives you a little continuity from one week to the next. And it really only has you messed up for 1 week. Any team likes having 10 days off between games. So, kind of having that mini bye week is going to be, I think, great for them after the Rams game. And then, having 3 straight noon games, I think is also, I mean, there's a lot of elements of the schedule that just kind of let them get into a routine that, you're right, they have not had in recent years. And I think that, definitely there have been times that this team has just been, what day of the week are we playing on? Who knows? You just kind of show up, and I think it did drain them. I mean, there might be some monotony to this, but I think it's going to be good monotony.
Couple more questions for our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. The league swears up and down that they scheduled the games without any foreknowledge of Patrick Mahomes' injury status, and Andy Reid continues to play coy whenever asked about it, including when asked about it by NFL Network last night. But do you think the sense in the building is growing that Patrick Mahomes is going to be there week one? Or do you think maybe everybody's in the same place mentally that they've been, where it's still, we hope, but...
I think it's definitely more of at this point, they expect Patrick Mahomes to be ready, by the beginning of week one. And I'll be interested to see if that does change any bit with, phase 3 of the offseason workouts. And maybe that's going to change the public perception a little bit. I don't know if it'll change a lot in the building, but, by rule, in phase 3, if Patrick practices at all, it really eliminates any option of, having him start the training camp on the PUP list. And that's one thing that, Andy Reid's kind of suggested, is they would like to keep the option just available in case he has a setback of any sort. Technically, if you practice at all, I mean, if you're on the field and doing anything more than stretch and conditioning, and you're going through drills or anything like that, doesn't even have to be a team portion of the practice, but just out there throwing during a practice with the coaches watching and throwing a ball to a receiver, that technically makes you ineligible for the PUP list unless you have a new injury. And I mean, obviously, sometimes you can play roster shenanigans and pull these things off. But, if Patrick's taken part in any way whatsoever in phase 3, when they have the OTAs and the veteran mandatory minicamp, then I'm expecting him to be practicing at the beginning of camp and ready for week one. If he doesn't, I'm not sure it's really going to, bother anybody in that building. I think the public perception might change a bit, and you're going to hear a lot of people saying, well, the Chiefs are kind of keeping their options open a little bit, so maybe he's not going to be ready to begin this season. But I'm not sure I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes set a goal and not meet it, and his goal has been all along to play in week one.
Last question for you, Matt. Based on, I'm not going to ask you here on May 15th, give me a record prediction. It's a fun thing to do with the schedule, but I want to ask you the question in a different way. Based on your expectation for what you think this team can achieve or should achieve record-wise, do you feel better or worse about them being able to attain that record based on how the schedule fell for them?
I think I probably feel better about it because, you go through it and there's not a significant rest deficit. And that's what, this team had some years when they had some of these scheduled gymnastics that they had to jump through. By and large, they got pretty even rest throughout the year, and there's nothing that they're in significant challenges. Like you said, I think the routine of the schedule is going to help. Having a schedule that's front loaded that you can get jump started a little bit. If you start out 4-0, that's a lot easier to make the playoffs than you start out 2-2. And this schedule's built for that. If as tough as the back end of it is, I do think that I think it is more favorable for them to have a bounce back year. And, I still think it's going to be tough to get better than 12-5 given this schedule, unless they have some really good luck. But 11-6, 12-5 will get you into the playoffs. And even if they stumble here and there, 10-7 should keep them safe. And hey, if you're coming back from off 6-11, that's an improvement. I think that if this team goes 9-8 or worse, I think that we'll have had some bad luck and some injuries along the way.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs for Chiefs Digest, ChiefsDigest.com. He is our Chiefs insider on 580 Sports Talk, and he joins us every Friday at this time on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Matt, it is always a pleasure. We know when they're going to play them. Now, just got to wait till they strap it up for real. Thanks for the time, and it's always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds great, Dan. Take care, my friends.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll step aside for a timeout. Come back, wrap up the hour. 580 Sports Talk next. On second thought, are the White Sox good? They're over 500 after sweeping the Royals this weekend. Not a lot of teams in the American League can claim that. I'll say this. I thought the White Sox were going to share space with Minnesota at the bottom of the American League Central this year. After seeing how they played the first 40-plus games now, I kind of think they've got a better roster than the Twins. Got some young players doing some fun things. Munetaka Murakami maybe can defy conventional wisdom and be a productive hitter, even though he's going to strike out 250 times. Pitching looks intriguing. Bullpen looks like it could steal some games. I'm not going to go ahead and say that's a playoff team, but certainly much improved beyond what I expected. And unfortunately, that came at the expense of the Royals the past 3 days. We'll talk some baseball in the 5 o'clock hour. When we come back, start the 4 o'clock hour with our Chiefs schedule confidence rankings. From 17 to 1, how confident are we that the Chiefs can win every game as it's scheduled for 2026? And we'll preview the Preakness Stakes with our horse racing correspondent Andy Weingarten. Plus, we'll crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You. That's all coming up on the next hour of 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, hour number 2 on this Friday edition of the program. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Thank you for spending part of your Friday with us. It's NFL schedule release the day after. We got more of that to get to. We've got a Preakness Stakes preview with our horse racing correspondent, Kentucky Derby insider, really, and our horse racing correspondent, Andy Weingarten, will join us at the bottom of this hour. We've still got headlines, still got some Royals talk to get to in the 5 o'clock hour. We are with you until 6:30 tonight. We'll have a little bit of overtime in case you missed our guest from the 3 o'clock hour. Matt Derrick will re-rack that for you on overtime ahead of 6:30 pregame coverage of Royals baseball tonight. The Royals and the Cardinals renewing their I-70 series hostilities at Busch Stadium. It's a 7:15 first pitch tonight. Funky start time for a Friday. I don't know if the Cardinals are doing some sort of pregame thing. It's not a national TV game. For a second, I thought it might be Apple TV, but it's not. You can watch it on Royals TV as you typically do. That is, if you're inclined to watch the Royals right now, which you kind of understand if you're not, because they've not played good baseball. Losers of 4 in a row, just swept in Chicago, trying to get right against a Cardinal team that has certainly overachieved to start 2026. 7:15 first pitch, 6:30, pregame coverage here on 580 WIBW FM 104.9. Michael Wacha, Dustin May, the starting pitching matchup. Dustin May's not any good. You'd like to think that the Royals could get after him. Throws very hard. He's very tall. He's very long-limbed. He's not very good. That's kind of the story of his career. Michael Wacha, who has been very good for the Royals this season, is on the bump for KC. We'll, again, have a little bit more to say about that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But in this 4 o'clock hour, we've got more NFL schedule to talk about today. Still looking for your predictions. How you feeling about the Chiefs' record based on how the schedule shook out? Text your thoughts. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429. You can also, again, interact with us in our YouTube live chat as we broadcast live on YouTube. Jump in the chat. Say hello. Introduce yourself. Interact with your hosts. Interact with your fellow listeners. And, get your thoughts in on the Chiefs' schedule. And if you're checking it out for the first time, give us a like or a subscribe. Hey, here's a fun little button that tells you to do that if you're watching the YouTube video right now. I don't know if the button does anything. Y'all tell me if it does or not, and it doesn't do anything on our end. It's just a little graphic that goes up and says like and subscribe.
So I found that yesterday, and I added it, and I forgot to tell you.
I noticed it and played with it yesterday, and now I'm playing with it again today. So, subscribe to the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We went up a few subscribers yesterday. We are, as of the start of today, 37 subscribers shy of 1,000, 1K. If we get there, the guy who founded Apple is going to buy us all Lamborghinis. By us, I mean me and Brendan and Spencer. And we're all going to get Lamborghinis when we get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So help us get into some nicer wheels. It's not true. Disclaimer, may not actually be real. Go subscribe if you have not already to the YouTube channel. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. When we get to 1,000, we're gonna do something fun. We don't know what it is yet. You guys haven't put enough pressure on us yet. We're thinking about it. Yeah. Let's put it that way. Once you get us down to about like 20 away from 1,000, at that point, we're actually going to have to get serious about this. We're not serious about it. It's just deadline spur action, right? And the closer you guys nudge us to 1,000, the more serious we've got to get about, all right, how are we going to thank you? How are we going to show our appreciation to you for 1,000 YouTube subscribers? But we're still 37 out, so we've got some time. Unless there are 37 of you listening right now who have not subscribed to the YouTube, and you all want to go subscribe right now, and you just did it. We got to 1,000 today. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be sick.
We would have to all get together over the weekend and figure out what.
I think we'd have to offer 37 Lamborghinis to get that done, which we do not have in the budget. But if there's 37 of you out there, do we have 37 heroes? I know you're somewhere. Maybe you're all out there listening right now of the same hive mind.
We had one more hero.
I'm going to go subscribe.
We need 36 more.
36 away now from 1,000. 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Get us to 1K this summer.
35 away.
Hey now, love to see it. Love to see it. Again, deadlines per actions. You have to make us think about what we're going to do. I'm leaning more towards celebrating our listeners than debasing ourselves. Although, also, poor K, no lows, dose. Why not both? We could probably find a way to do both, frankly. So, stay tuned for that as we get closer to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. I wanted to do today. You're familiar with the confidence pool. Confidence pool, right, Spencer?
Yeah.
So 16 games in an NFL week without a bye, and you assign a point total to your picks. It's a pick 'em pool, except you assign a point total to all your picks. So the game that you're most confident is going to go the way you think it will, you give 16 points to, and the one you're least confident in, you give 1, and so on and so forth, and the most points at the end of the week. My dad does a head-to-head pick 'em pool that usually finishes pretty well in. I think he was like second or third in last year's pick 'em pool, which is pretty good. Anyway, I thought we would turn that on the 2026 Kansas City Chiefs schedule. There are, of course, 17 games, which means we would be ranking these games from 17 points, the most certain on May 15th that we are of a Chiefs victory in the game, to 1 point for, and again, you can glass half full or half empty this, the game we are least certain the Chiefs will win or the most certain that the Chiefs will lose. I think number 1 might have been even easier to fill out than number 17. Number 1, the 1 point game, is the Thanksgiving game at Buffalo, because the Chiefs, try as they might, cannot beat the Bills in the regular season. And sometimes it is because the Bills have just simply taken that game a little bit more seriously than the Chiefs have. It has meant more to them. Last year is a bit more of a canary in the coal mine type of moment, certainly, for a Chiefs season that went completely off the rails following their loss at, I guess it's old Highmark Stadium, because the new stadium is also called Highmark Stadium there in Buffalo. The old stadium went through a bunch of names. It will always be Rich Stadium to me. That's how I'll remember it. That was what it was when I was a kid. Everything was perfect and right when you were 10. I will always remember it as Rich Stadium, but it was Ralph Wilson Stadium.
That's how I'll remember it.
New Era Field, I think, there for a while.
Ralph Wilson is like the first Madden game I had. It was a Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Named after the longtime owner. But yeah, it finished its life. The stadium's life ended as Highmark Stadium. I don't know what Highmark is. I have no idea what Highmark does.
It's a healthcare provider.
Yeah, that tracks. So the new Bills Stadium is also called Highmark Stadium. So when you refer last year to the Chiefs season, that loss in Buffalo really kind of being the beginning of the end of the Chiefs' hopes in 2025, that happened at the old Highmark Stadium. This will be their first trip to the new Highmark Stadium, which I got to say, it is impressive how generic that stadium looks. That stadium looks like one of the fake ones that they let you play in like a FIFA soccer video game. It looks like a fake soccer stadium that they came up with on the EA FC FIFA series. It is terribly generic, but at least some people will be covered up from the elements. They got that going for it, which is nice.
Yeah, I will say,
I'm glad it's outdoors. I'll say this too. Everybody want to build a dome, even the Chiefs. Thank you to the Bills for, at the very least, putting a hole in your roof.
Yes, and shout out to the Bills for getting it done. Like, they installed the grass, and it is letting the grass mature. Like, they're not just finishing it like right when the season starts.
Well, what the hell else is there to do in Buffalo?
I mean, that's
I guess
true.
Watch playoff hockey. That hasn't been the case in 15 years, but yeah, like, what else are you going to do in Buffalo? Hey, get that stadium done.
Yeah.
Don't put it off. Nothing else to do. There was an NFL player who played part of his career in Buffalo and fathered a child while he played for the Bills. And I swear this is true. I swear I'm not making this up. I don't remember who was it. Robert Woods? I don't know if it was Robert Woods. It was maybe a little further back than Robert Woods, but famously said, there ain't nothing to do in Buffalo except each other. And listen, Proof was in the pudding there. But yeah,
And eat wings.
and eat wings. The iconic Kenny Mayne segment with Marshawn Lynch, where there was a contrast because Will Spaghetti had wanted a trade from Buffalo and complained about the lack of nightlife in Buffalo, complained about all there is to do is Dave and Buster's, and Kenny Mayne would go hang out with then Bill Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch made a big show about like going to Applebee's and Dave and Buster's and playing Dance Dance Revolution with fans. It's one of the funniest segments the old Sunday NFL Countdown ever did. If you've never seen it, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Like his teammates are on there. I think it's Robert Royal going, matter of fact, Marshawn went to Applebee's 3 times during the bye week. And Marshawn goes into the Applebee's and he goes behind the bar. He says, I like it when they pour my own, they let me pour my own drink. I love the sound it makes. So much power. And he's, the little Coke nozzle, he's pouring himself a Coke. Very, very fun. All-time great ESPN Kenny Mayne sketch.
Von Miller is quoted as saying, "There's nothing to do in Buffalo. All I do is hang out with teammates, since that's all there is to do in Buffalo."
Yeah, that's apparently it's a very common refrain among members of the Bill. Anyhow, that is the obvious, least confident in the Chiefs to win a game this year. It is on the road. It is at Buffalo, who is good and who will be playing at Thanksgiving in a brand new stadium. That feels like a loss. I think even the most optimistic Chiefs fan probably looks at that game and says, yeah, we're not probably winning that one. The most confident I am in a Chiefs win, week 9 at home against the Jets. And the reason it's the Jets and it's not the Dolphins week 3, because I think the Dolphins are the worst team in football. I genuinely think the Dolphins are looking at 1-16, 2-15. It's the Mahomes factor. It's how certain are you that Mahomes is going to play? And listen, ask me again in a month. Ask me after OTAs. Mahomes goes through OTAs and minimal restrictions, and everybody says he looks good, the arm feels good, and all that. Then maybe I'll adjust my thinking a little bit. But
he was golfing today at his charity golf outing.
That's good to see. You can ride on a cart, though, when you golf.
Yes.
That's a lot more hips than knees. Anyway, that is my reasoning that I am more certain Mahomes will be in the lineup week 9 than I am that he'll be in the lineup week 3. So that is why I have the Jets as my 17-point confidence pick. The Arizona home game 2 weeks after that as my 16-point confidence pick. And then the week 3 and 4 road games against Miami and Vegas, who I think are going to end up 2 of the 3 worst teams in the league this year, as my 15 and 14-point confidence picks. 13-point game is the week 2 home game against Indianapolis. Again, that's a bit of a bet on Mahomes' health, but also I just don't think the Colts are very good. It's a home game on Sunday night. I think the Chiefs find a way there. Then I have the week 15 Monday night home game against the Patriots, who I think the Patriots are going to miss the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and call my shot.
What did they do to upgrade?
Yeah, that's a bigger picture discussion about the Patriots. Yeah. But I just don't feel that team was not a 14-win team last year, and tougher schedule. And I think back to reality a little bit for New England this year. I have the week 10 game in Atlanta behind that. In terms of confidence level, because I don't think anybody in the NFC South is good. I have the week 16 home game against 49ers, late season, warm weather team coming to play on the road. Even though that's not a primetime game, Chiefs are going to be keyed up for those December games. I have week 18 against the Raiders 9. That's the home game against the Raiders. And the reason I can't put it any higher than that is if the Chiefs are secure in their playoff seeding, they're not going to play Mahomes and company in that game. And then who knows what the result might be. So that's the only reason I don't have Raiders at home. That's when you think big picture about the schedule. If you were looking at just the list of opponents, you would have said Raiders at home, maybe the most confident of any game this year. But it's week 18, and you got the chance in the Mahomes era have been pretty high. The Chiefs aren't going to play their starters in week 18. Generally, they don't. Maybe it's different this year, but I'm hedging. I'm hedging a little bit with that one. The next game on the list, my 8-point confidence game is week 1 at home, Monday Night Football against Denver. And this is sort of the dividing line for me. The first 9 games, I fully expect, and in the Raider game, it's just contingent on whether it matters or not. But those first 9 games, I fully expect that the Chiefs will win. And I expect that the Chiefs will win, not without breaking a sweat, but I would expect them to win those games more often than not. The Denver home game is the dividing line, and that's like the most confident I am in a game I would consider a possible loss. And the only reason I consider that a possible loss is the chance Mahomes doesn't play, which is, vanishing by the day, apparently. But it's home. It's probably Mahomes' first game back. It's prime time. It's week 1. Chiefs usually come ready to play week 1, although 2 of the last 3 years hasn't been the case. I would expect them to win that game, but it will not be easy. Denver has played them tougher than any other division foe the last couple of years. Chargers have also played them tough. I have the Chargers games back-to-back on my list. 7-point game is the home game week 6. My 6-point game is the road game week 17. And then it's all road games the rest of the way down. In order of most confidence to least, the trip to Cincinnati week 14, the trip to Denver week 8, the trip to the Rams week 13 on Thursday night. And I might even switch that one with the Bronco game because of the chance that the Rams, who got a brutal schedule draw this year, might be kind of hanging on by a thread by the time week 13 comes around. My 2-point game is the trip to Seattle, because I think that's the best team they play because they're the defending champs. That's on the road. That's Sunday night. Primetime Seahawks are pretty inevitable. And then the 1-point game being the trip to Buffalo. Is there anything to you, Spencer, that stands out that you think I'm way off on when it comes to my ranking there?
No. I mean, I think pretty much like it's how it is, right? Like I may be even more set on Arizona being more confident than New York.
So you would flip-flop at the top. You'd say Arizona's a more confident game for you than the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, as Dan Orlovsky said last night on the now simulcast schedule release, I don't know if you knew that. I did not. ESPN simulcast their schedule release on NFL Network.
I didn't watch that on TV. I'll be real honest with you. I waited for the press release.
I just clicked over to it later on. But as Dan Orlovsky said, the Cardinals are literally just waiting for Arch Manning. Like they're biding their time this season and gonna take and like they're gonna tank.
That's
tank
fair.
for Arch or whatever.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like and look, if it was earlier in the season, I'd be maybe more confident. But actually, this makes me more confident because I think the NFL can slightly adjust to whatever Jeremiah Love's going to throw out. Right? Like he's going to have 10 weeks on film before the Chiefs game.
Well, I mean, rookie running backs, especially in a system where the quarterback's not very good, I don't expect him to make any kind of real impact as a rookie. Kind of like Ashton Genty didn't make any real impact as a rookie for the Raiders.
That's true. Yeah.
So, that Cardinal game doesn't scare me at all. You might have argued me into flip-flopping those two, to be honest with you, because I forgot how dire Arizona's roster.
But I mean, the four grouping at the top, like, makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Like,
so anything at the bottom you feel maybe less confident in that you think I'm maybe more confident in than I should be?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still more confident in the home Raider game.
Yeah, that's just me hedging. That's me like hedging for the sake of
or not them. The not the Raiders, totally different. I was watching a schedule release video and the Broncos were very confident in their week 18 game. Do you know why?
I do not know why.
They put in who's the backup in Denver?
Jared Stidham?
Yeah, it said putting Stidham in cruise control or something. And so that's why I think like Justin Fields is going to play that game, and he could still probably beat the Raiders. That's my take.
That's another thing real quick we can talk about here because we had a texter from the 785 say, I thought we were going to talk about the schedule release videos. So I've mentioned this before. I personally am not on the X platform anymore. The platform formerly known as Twitter. all of the professional sports teams still do the bulk of their social on X, formerly Twitter.
They also post them all on YouTube.
Yes,
and that's
they
where
all.
I watched it on our TV on YouTube.
So I've only seen 3 of them. I saw the Chiefs one for the sake of the Chiefs. Always happy to see Rob Riggle.
Yeah.
I thought
Did you call the number?
I did not call the number.
It's great. You have to call
I read the press release and I know what the number is.
Yeah.
But I did not call the number. There is a phone number that is an active phone number that's in the Chiefs schedule release video if you haven't seen it. And Spencer doesn't want to spoil the surprise for you, then I won't either. But I know what it is. So yeah, call the number if you haven't done so. So I watched that one. I watched the Seahawks because they're my favorite team. They did like a perfume cologne commercial send up that I thought was pretty good. There's a great cameo at the very end from my favorite Seahawk of all time that I really enjoyed. And then I watched the Colts one because it was the Simpsons.
I was going to say.
Yeah, that was the one.
When I clicked it and it was the Simpsons, I was like, Dan's watched this.
I'm very proud, actually, to announce that I have joined the Colts social media team. And yesterday was my first day, and I helped them pick out some of those clips. I can't believe they got away with using the America's Wang clip. That was really, I didn't expect to see that one. That's a good one, though. That made me laugh. I haven't seen the others. Like, I know that, oh, man, the Chargers, they do such a killer job. It's a 6-minute video, and it's a reference to a video game I've never played. I'm sure it's great, and I hope y'all that watched it enjoyed it. I ain't got time for that, brother. I'm not going to sit and watch a video on my phone for 6 minutes.
They did in the Chargers one, they said like photo dump when they were playing the Patriots.
Yeah, that I understand. I have read that teams sort of pulled their punches on the unpleasantness that the coach of the Patriots has been involved in this
So
offseason.
the dumbest one that I attempted to watch was the Eagles. They just had 5 of their players in a round table reacting to the like they had it said week 1 and it was like in an envelope, and they would read week 1 Sunday afternoon blah 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 against hosting the Commanders. Oh yeah. And then it was like, and they went through it all, and then they talked for another 10. It was the dumbest video ever, because like, no way these guys are they have an overseas game. There's no way these players are happy to go play overseas. It's Saquon acted like he was. You could tell they were acting.
It sounds like the worst reviewed one is Arizona's, because they used AI to make it. And I've said it once. I'll say it 100 times until people get the hint on this. Nobody likes that crap. Nobody wants to watch AI slop. Nobody wants it. Nobody. Especially not young people. And for the rest of the social media creators out there that like that's their job to 31 other teams employ social media teams that put together, videos took a long time to make, a long time to put together, and for one team to just, what if ChatGPT did ours? Yeah, lame. Boo. Tomatoes. I'm throwing tomatoes at the Cardinals. Crappy team does crappy AI slop. That kind of figures. Anyhow, we're going to take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. We got Andy Weingarten coming up here in a little bit. He is our horse racing insider. He will preview the Preakness. It's coming up this weekend. It is the second leg of the Triple Crown in the Sport of Kings. Our friend Andy Weingarten, former meteorologist at WIBW-TV, longtime friend of the show, will join us here in just a little while. But first, we're going to crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You on 580 Sports Talk. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? 2 new stories competing today. We're going to crown a weekly champion at the end of the day. Our Monday story has survived the week to date. It is the story of an overnight burglary at a Central Florida high school. Two unidentified white males broke in, not really broke in. They just walked through an unlocked door. They took around $50 worth of lanyards, stole miscellaneous food items, including approximately 100 hot dogs and some ice cream valued at approximately $60, and an Allen wrench set before leaving 23 minutes after they arrived. Just some hooligans messing around, stealing lanyards, hot dogs, ice cream, and an Allen wrench. An extremely random burglary. That is our current champion on What Is Wrong With You. We'll see if we can dethrone it on this Friday. 2 new stories. Spencer, you go first, please.
All right. Any story is going to be good when the name of the person that got arrested, they have a nickname, right? I feel like a lot of these stories are pretty good when somebody has a nickname. A Florida man has been charged with drugging and robbing a victim at a York County motel earlier this year. Justin Blaze Bartlett, 37, of Chipley, Florida, was charged with aggravated assault, robbery, theft, and by unlawful taking and access fraud after extensive investigation by the Fairview Township Police. He was arrested in Tennessee 2 days after he allegedly drugged a victim and another man at a Super 8 motel in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. He was driving a 2023 Volvo that the victim had reported stolen. So he stole the victim's car after the fact and was driving it. Hey, maybe you should have dumped the car. Maybe that would have been smart. The victim also reported that Bartlett had charged more than $2,200 to credit cards he'd taken from the victim while traveling to Tennessee. He allegedly drugged the victim and another man while they were in the room at a motel, knocking both men unconscious. He then robbed the victim, who suffered serious medical complications.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, unfortunately had a long stay at a hotel. But yes, this guy robbed somebody. Then he went to steal the Volvo and charge on credit cards. They're going to find him.
Yeah.
Easily traceable stuff.
Yeah, stealing other people's credit cards and car. Yeah, nowadays that is not very easy to get away with.
Yeah.
For my story, we go to San Francisco, where the Organized Retail Crime Task Force of the San Francisco Police Department announced the arrests and charges against certain individuals accused of prolific retail thievery in the city. We're going to focus on one of those gentlemen, 24-year-old Tyrese Boswell, who, according to police, targeted 2 Walgreens locations on 27 separate occasions, stealing nearly $40,000 in cosmetics and other merchandise. Initially, he was arrested on Christmas Eve last year, at which point he was accused of burglarizing a Walgreens in North Beach a total of 18 times. He was released. He continued, following his release, to burglarize Walgreens. He changed his location, however, started stealing from the Walgreens in Noe Valley. The task force says that Boswell was engaged in a week-long theft spree that led to a second arrest April 4th. In that spree, he reportedly hit the Noe Valley store on 7 separate occasions. He was arrested. He was released. He went back to that Walgreens twice and robbed it twice. Arrested for a third time on April 16th. He's facing 9 counts of felony second-degree burglary, as well as 7 counts of grand theft, along with 7 counts of petty theft with prior convictions. So he's knocking over the same Walgreens 18, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Fool me 17 times, shame on me. Fool me 18 times, won't get fooled again. 18 thefts, then he's arrested, then they let him out. 7 thefts at a different Walgreens, arrested again, they let him out, and he hits that same Walgreens twice more.
Dumb.
Cannot stop, can't leave the game alone. Some people just can't shake that feeling, that burning desire inside of them. Michael Jordan couldn't stay retired. George Foreman couldn't stay retired. Brett Favre couldn't stay retired. A lot of the greats couldn't do it. And this guy couldn't stay away from the Walgreens. Yeah. I think that wins today. I think it wins the week.
I think it does too. At least be smart enough to not go back to where you committed the crime and do more.
Well, yeah, that's just it. At least the first time around, he said, all right, I'm going to switch my game up. I'm going to go to this different Walgreens. 7 times and rob it. And then he gets arrested for doing that. And then, like, you don't go to a third Walgreens? Went back to the same well. Unbelievable. Arrested for doing something repeatedly twice and then continuing to repeatedly do it. That is some what is wrong with you behavior, if ever I've seen it. It's the Walgreens burglar. We'll come up with a better name for it. But that's our new winner and our weekly champion. A Friday story sneaking into the wire to win the week on What Is Wrong With You. When we come back, we're previewing the Preakness Stakes with our horse racing correspondent, Andy Weingarten, on 580 Sports Talk. The second leg of horse racing's Triple Crown takes place on Saturday, post time 6:01 at Laurel Park instead of the longtime home of the race, Pimlico. The Preakness Stakes runs for the 151st time, and on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline to help us preview the second leg of the Triple Crown in the Sport of Kings is our horse racing correspondent, longtime friend of the program, former meteorologist at WIBW TV and Wave 3 Television in Louisville, Andy Weingarten. Andy, how fired up are we for leg number 2 of this Triple Crown?
Well, I'd be a little more fired up if some of the Derby horses decided to participate, but since they're not, we deal with basically a new crop of 3-year-olds.
Yes, Golden Tempo won the Kentucky Derby and decided immediately, well, I don't think the horse decided. The trainers decided for the horse not to run the Preakness, and that's the second year in a row that the Kentucky Derby winner has decided not to run the Preakness. Last Derby winner to win was to run the Preakness was Mystic Dan in 2024, who finished as the runner-up that year. There was a lot of talk last season after the Kentucky Derby champion Sovereignty decided to skip the Preakness about the problem of having these two races so close together on the calendar. For this to happen a second straight year, do you think that creates more of an outcry and more traction for the idea of spreading out these Triple Crown races and making it more appealing for owners and trainers to run their horses in all 3 legs?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I think it will happen. I think that'll happen after the Triple Crown this year. I think the question now is whether they're going to do it 3 weeks out or 4 weeks out. The talk is 3 weeks, but I think they should go 4. And I've been an advocate of that for 10 years now, that they need to run the Derby the first Saturday in May, the Preakness the first Saturday in June, and the Belmont the first Saturday in July. And until they go 4 weeks out, this is going to be an issue. They need to fix it. They need to fix it now, and I think they will.
The other thing that makes this race notable, as I was mentioning, Pimlico is undergoing major renovations this year, so they're going to run the Preakness at Laurel Park. It'll still be the same distance, 1 3/16 of a mile, but how much different could the race be as a result of the change in venue this year?
Well, I know that the turns at Laurel Park are a little bit wider than they are at Pimlico. Pimlico has real sharp turns. So they're a little more sweeping. That may make a difference. One thing I can tell you, the atmosphere is going to be enormously different. I did not realize this, but apparently they're only going to have 4,500 fans at Laurel Park. I didn't know if that's all they can hold, but you're not going to have 100,000 people like you do at most of these Triple Crown races. You're going to have 4,500 people. It's like a normal day, a normal claiming day at a racetrack.
Very, very different feel for the 151st Preakness this year. No question about it. We preview it with our horse racing correspondent, longtime friend of the show, Andy Weingarten, here on 580 Sports Talks. He joins us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Andy, the downside, obviously, is that we won't get to see Golden Tempo take a swing at the Triple Crown, but the upside of a brand new field is it feels very wide open, and there's not really a consensus clear-cut favorite in this race. Right now, the betting favorite is the number 9 horse, Iron Honor. What can you tell us about Iron Honor?
Iron Honor is one that would have made the Derby had he had enough points. I think he was probably one of the 20 best horses out there, but just didn't have the points and the dollars to make it. He's more of a pace setter. Should be out near the front. Has a trainer that's very familiar with the Triple Crown races, the jockey as well. But you're getting to the point now where most of these jockeys have run numerous Triple Crown races, so I don't think that will be much of an issue. Nice horse, nothing special, but I think you can say that about basically all 14 of them.
The jockey who did win the Kentucky Derby on the back of Golden Tempo, Jose Ortiz, has a ride for the Preakness. It's Chip Honcho, the number 6 horse, who is 5-1 odds to win the race. It hasn't raced since March 21st, so a long layoff there. But does sometimes that advantage of having a jockey who's that experienced and has already won one of the big Triple Crown legs, maybe potentially an advantage for the delightfully named, I must say, Chip Honcho?
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing about this is Jose Ortiz made the decision before the owners of Golden Tempo made their call not to run in the Preakness. He was going to jump off that horse and run on this one anyway, which I thought was really interesting. So, he must think very highly of this horse if he was willing to jump off a Derby winner and go ride this one in the Preakness.
It's fascinating, Andy, as you continue to kind of look at this field. Even the horses that did run the Kentucky Derby or were set to run the Kentucky Derby didn't have really noteworthy finishes. The one exception to that rule is the 2-horse Oselli, who's a 6-1 odds in that number 2 post. What are Oselli's chances? The horse was kind of a surprise to finish 3rd. It went off at 70-1 at the Derby. Can it build off of that and potentially take the Preakness?
I don't think so. I think he ran the race of his life in the Kentucky Derby. Like you said, he was 73-1 or whatever it was. Ran great, had a nice clear trip, but I think we're really getting to the issue now where, you're not going to come back and win this race 2 weeks after running the Derby because they're not used to it. They're running 4, 5, 6 weeks, spreading them out, and to come back immediately like this, it's not, I'll put it to you this way. I don't have them in my top 3.
Andy Weingarten, our horse racing correspondent on 580 Sports Talk, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Let's get to that top three, Andy. It is a 14-horse field. Again, Iron Honor, currently the betting favorite at 9-2 odds. There are five other horses that have 8-1 odds or better, so it is really feeling like anybody's race. Let's start with your show horse, third-place finisher, who you have in that slot.
And let me tell you, before I do that if you bet my trifecta in this race and you win, you'll likely be able to skip work for the rest of the year.
That sounds lovely. I'm all in on that. Go ahead.
Financially. Anyway, I've got Taj Mahal, the one horse, as the show horse. Interestingly enough, he has won all three of his races, and all three of them have been at Laurel Park. He's going to be it should be a pace setter. Which is good in the Preakness usually, but there are several pace setters in this race. So while I think he may be near or actually in front most of the way, I think he'll fade towards the end and finish third.
If Taj Mahal wins, that would mean female trainers win both of the first two legs of the Triple Crown this year. It had never happened at the Derby. It's also never happened in 150 years of the Preakness either. How about your place horse, second place at the Preakness?
Well, the two Ortiz brothers ran first and second in the Kentucky Derby. I've got one of them finishing second in the Preakness, but not Jose Ortiz. I think it's Irad Ortiz, and I've got him on a long shot, Talkin', who's the 5-horse, 20-1 in the morning line. There's been a lot of buzz on the backside from what I understand about this horse, and this horse ran a really good race in the Bluegrass, finished third, but was closing fast. So I'm going with a long shot for second. I'm putting the 20-1 shot Talkin', number 2.
Taj Mahal to show, Talkin' to place. Who will win the 151st Preakness Stakes, Andy Weingarten?
All right, here's my real long shot. I'm going with what may end up being the longest shot in the field, the 8-horse, Bull by the Horns. Great closer. You probably won't hear his name mentioned much until the very end. But he's got the lowest speed rate. Because of his racing style and the fact that everybody has said he's been training exceptionally well the last 6 weeks. So I figured I was going to go with a long shot anyway. Let's do what I think will be the longest shot in the field, the 8-horse Bull by the Horns.
Currently at 30-1, Bull by the Horns has not raced since March 21st. Came all the way from the back of the pack at the Rushaway Stakes to win. So if you like the trend line there, and you like the most rested horse, Bull by the Horns is Andy Weingarten's pick to win the 151st Preakness Stakes.
And I will tell you, this trifecta, if it comes in, will pay. I'm going to predict it will pay a minimum of 4 figures, at least $10,000.
Handsomely. It will pay handsomely. Yes. And so there you have it. Those are the picks from our horse racing correspondent, longtime friend of 580 Sports Talk, former meteorologist at WIBW TV and Wave 3 in Louisville, Andy Weingarten, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. Always a pleasure, Andy, and we'll look forward to doing it before the Belmont.
Okay, we'll talk to you in 3 weeks. Take care, guys.
Sounds good. That is Andy Weingarten. Gotta say, the horse names at the Preakness are astoundingly good. Chip Honcho is a great horse name. I like Talkin'.
It sounds like
Talkin' is a very good horse
the
name.
Honcho one sounds like a character in a Will Ferrell movie.
Well, yeah, it's a Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Mike Honcho. I appeared in Playgirl as Mike Honcho. I'm not sure I can get to the I can get to the punchline of that line from John C. Reilly. Number 7 horse is called The Hell We Did. Great name.
Yeah.
Iron Honor is a sick name, the betting favorite. Incredibolt, who ran the Derby, is the 12 horse. Also running in this race, we didn't get a chance to mention this horse, Great White in the 13th post. Great White is the horse, you watch the Kentucky Derby, that got to the post and was like, nah, I'm good. And flipped and didn't run the race. So
will that happen again?
Will that happen again? There's another reason to watch the Preakness Stakes on Saturday night. Our thanks again to Andy Weingarten. We'll take a timeout, come back with Change My Mind to wrap up this 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Little change my mind to wrap up this second hour today on 580 Sports Talk. Spencer, change my mind. I'd rather have what the Chiefs have this year, an easy start and a tough November, December slate, than a tough start and an easier run-in.
I'd rather have things go easy early, especially because if Patrick Mahomes comes back, he's not going to be like there's going to be some games like I don't know the word to describe it. Like he needs to get back into it. Like it's going to take a couple games for us to see the real Mahomes that we know.
Absolutely.
And I think having this schedule, if he is to start the season under center, then it's the perfect combination for him. It's like a ramp up.
Yeah, I think it's
because he's not going to play in the preseason. I don't think no matter what.
No, I can't imagine he plays in the preseason. I do think, especially this year, it's better for the Chiefs to be able to, like you said, kind of ease Mahomes back a little bit. But I think just in general, whether you've got a healthy quarterback or you got a quarterback coming back from injury, I would rather play more winnable games when you're kind of finding out who you are as a team, and then go ahead and bring the tough ones when you've got a better idea of your identity and how to win those games, and get yourself sharpened for a postseason run. If you're a team with postseason aspirations, I think that's the better path. Personally, that's my thought. You ever change my mind?
Yeah, change my mind. Can we just go back to when your favorite team just posted the schedule in a graphic?
I think people have fun with the videos, even if I have less. I guess I have less time for them. I am really like all week. I've been made to sound very grumpy and old on this show. I've been. People are saying I'm the get off my lawn guy. I'm starting to feel my oats a little bit, but I am generally on team let people enjoy things, and people seem to really enjoy the videos, even if some of the videos are just like, this is like a 3-minute SNL skit, basically, that we're writing.
Look,
and then here's the schedule at the end.
Give me like
the Broncos
your
one
best
was
90 seconds. That's what I want. Your best 90 seconds.
Keep it tight.
And that's it.
Keep it
Maybe
tight.
5 minutes max.
Yeah, I don't have 6 minutes to watch a Halo knockoff.
This is so
Chargers.
That's the point. Is like you get the schedule graphic. And you're like, oh, there we go. How many primetime games? Boom.
Let's do a timeout for the news. We got sports headlines and a playoff roundup coming up. And we'll talk some Royals baseball in the final hour, 580 Sports Talk. Well, let's get it. Third and final hour of the day and the final hour of the week here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you for one more hour here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Regulation time on 580 Sports Talk is one more hour. We got some overtime tonight. We're going to re-rack. Our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, had some good insight and thoughts on the Chiefs schedule release that we'll share again, in case you missed it in the 3 o'clock hour earlier today. That's our overtime conversation of the day coming up in between the end of the show at 6 o'clock and the start of Royals baseball at 6:30. We'll send it to Royals Baseball Network at 6:30 for pregame coverage. 7:15 first pitch from Busch Stadium in St. Louis tonight. The renewal of the I-70 series for 2026 as the Kansas City Royals take on the St. Louis Cardinals.
And it's rivalry weekend, I guess. Not all teams really have that rivalry.
Not all teams, have a rival.
But they all play what the MLB wants them to have rivals, I guess.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of interleague play this weekend. You've got the Yankees and the Mets. You got the Crosstown Series, Cubs, White Sox. Did you know that this is the first time that the Cubs and White Sox have played when both teams have been over 500 since George W. Bush was still the president?
I mean, it makes sense.
It's been a while. You've got Dodgers, Angels. You've got Giants, A's tonight.
The Beltway Series.
You've got Miami, Tampa Bay. You got the Florida Series. You've got Baltimore, Washington, as you mentioned. But you've also got some matchups that are within the same league. Philadelphia playing Pittsburgh. You've got Texas playing Houston.
It's the poop series.
Not anymore. They got rid of that graphic. Arizona, Colorado is, of course, that classic NL West rivalry that you'll see this weekend. So, yes, it is the I-70 series, Kansas City and St. Louis. We'll talk a little more Royals. We skipped them at the top of the hour because, well, we were glad to have something else to talk about, given the performance lately of the Kansas City Royals, who, again, lost last night to the Chicago White Sox 6-2. Now 19-25 and tied for last with the equally disappointing Detroit Tigers early on in this American League Central race. So we'll get to more of the Royals in a little bit, including why I think the Royals probably, I want to be careful I phrase this, because I do think it's a little bit of a silly thing to say that a team needs to lose. I always fight against that notion, especially like in college basketball or college football, teams undefeated and they take a loss. It's like, well, we needed that loss. No, you never need a loss. But I do think sometimes getting knocked flat on your backside can be an impetus for a real look in the mirror. And we'll see if that happening to the Royals last night in a way that really hadn't been happening in the first two games against Chicago, and really all the games against Chicago this year, maybe refocuses the Royals a little bit. We'll also look ahead to the I-70 series, because if you told me back in March that when the Royals and Cardinals met for the first time that one team would be 19-25 and the other would be 25-18, I would have gotten the teams wrong, because St. Louis did not set out to win baseball games this year. But then Jordan Walker started hitting like Larry Walker, and Michael McGreevy started pitching like Bob Gibson, and things have changed a little bit for the Cardinals. They now look like they are potentially contenders in a very good and outstanding, it appears, National League Central. But yes, a lot of season still to go. We'll take a look and preview that series coming up in just a little while. We've got headlines as well, including a playoff roundup, all still to come on the show today. Want to hear from you? Text line is open. 785-272-9429 is the text line number. That is 785-272-9429. Would love to hear from you folks today. You can also interact with the program via our live chat on YouTube. The name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. We run the live chat while we broadcast the show live from 3 to 6 Central Time, and you are invited in. Anybody can come and be a part of the chat. Just all you got to do is be logged into YouTube, watch the show, say hello, interact with your fellow listeners, and appreciate that those of you who are in the chat take part and enjoy yourselves in that live chat. 580 Sports Talk, the name of the YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and hop into the 580 Sports Talk headlines today. We'll begin with some college bat and ball sports to tell you about. Last night in Provo, Kansas defeated BYU 9-6, and the win was significant because it was the 21st Big 12 win of the season for the Jayhawks. That is a new program record for a single season. Of course, Big 12 didn't always play 30 conference games, but 21 conference win is the most ever for a Kansas baseball team. They win 9-6 last night. West Virginia also won last night. They play against TCU. 2 more games left in the Big 12 season, tonight and tomorrow. Kansas just needs to match West Virginia. Whatever West Virginia does, if Kansas matches it, the Jayhawks are the Big 12 regular season champions. K-State lost last night. They are still in a position to make the conference tournament. Like I said, going into the week, all Kansas State needs to do is win one, and they will finish in the top 12, and they will play in the Big 12 tournament, I believe. But they have now 2 chances to win that one game after losing last night. Also this weekend, it's softball time, baby. It's softball o'clock in America. It is the regionals for the NCAA softball tournament, and those games are underway. The Kansas Jayhawks are in action for this first day. They are taking on Michigan in first round action in the Norman Regional. They are playing in the bottom of the first inning. Kansas is batting for the first time. They have a base runner with 1 out, no score. Kansas kept Michigan off the board in the top half of the first inning. Runner at first with 1 out for the Jayhawks. If you would like, that game is actually on television. ESPNU carrying that game tonight. Earlier in the first game of the day in that regional, Oklahoma, the number 3 national seed, whipped up on Binghamton. Took just 5 innings for the Sooners to take care of business over Binghamton, the Bearcats. Tony Kornheiser's alma mater. 11-0, the final score in that one. And the action there will continue, of course, throughout the weekend as Kansas will try and pull off what would be a seismic upset in the world of college softball and keep Oklahoma from reaching the College World Series. That is a lot easier said than done. But KU on TV right now, KU softball. Go check him out. Former Washburn Rural Lady Blue, Campbell Bagshaw features for the Jayhawks. I think they've got some other local girls too. I want to make sure that I mention them all. If I mention one, I want to mention them all, right? I want to make sure that everybody gets that sort of appreciation. But yes, Campbell Bagshaw is a senior on that team. Kaylee Washington out of Santa Fe Trails, a sophomore on the team as well. So a nice little local presence on those Jayhawks as they take on Michigan, the Wolverines. It's on ESPNU. Go check it out. Go watch. Go fire up the ESPN app and just mainline softball all weekend. The college softball's sick.
Yeah.
And I love like regional. I'm not a diehard college baseball fan. I can't really get into college baseball because it would be different if I had probably an alma mater that had played Division I and my DePaul Tigers are in the D3 tournament. We got that going for us, which is cool. But like I love watching the regionals because there's so many games and so many teams, so many colleges. You get the whip around coverage, the bases loaded coverage on ESPN Plus, and I just get addicted to watching that. So I'm looking forward to some of that this weekend. That's your first headline of the day. Some bat and ball updates from the local college sports scene. Spencer, give me a head.
Yeah, kind of related to what was bat and ball updates. Talk about how great KU baseball season is right now, even though they did get swept last weekend by West Virginia. There still is a chance they can host a regional, and that would be a problem for an event scheduled in Lawrence the same time that the NCAA baseball regionals would be. That's the state baseball tournament. And Keisha announced today its contingency plans for state baseball sites slated for Lawrence. If KU is selected to host the regional, the 4A, 3A, and 2 1A tournaments will move to Toynton Family Stadium in Manhattan, and the NCAA will decide the selection sites not this Sunday, but the next Sunday, May 24th. And then state baseball is slated for May 27th through 29th.
You can forgive the folks in Lawrence for not considering hosting a regional as a possibility before this season began because they've never done it.
Yeah.
This is not entirely unprecedented to where there have been sites that have had to change. I guess I shouldn't say that with certainty. I think that they maybe had to move state basketball one year because Hayes ended up hosting Division II regional, and they were scheduled to host. And then that meant Hayes kind of backed off on hosting in certain years when they knew that it would correspond. Emporia kind of the same way when Emporia had those really good women's basketball teams. And if state basketball coincided with NCAA regionals, they would not be inclined to host because they thought they might host a regional. But you go into the year with that thought.
Yeah.
Just like, Bramlage Coliseum has backed out of hosting state basketball some years when they know there's going to be a scheduling conflict. But yeah, this was probably not something that was really in the top of mind for Lawrence when they bid, and the University of Kansas, the folks with the venue when they or the folks in charge of the venue operations when they bid, because they've hosted state baseball without any complications from hosting a regional, because it's never happened before. So and I imagine for Jayhawk fans, it's an added little twist to the knife that, hey, we're going to be busy at our ballpark, but I hear yours will be free out there in Manhattan. Y'all want to host? I hear you've got some open dates coming up. So yeah, I'm sure that's a bit of a little more of a twist to the Sunflower Showdown knife there with that announcement. Next headline. This has been a really good spring to be a college basketball coach, because almost all of the prominent college basketball coaches have been able to parlay uncertainty, long-term uncertainty surrounding some of the biggest jobs in the industry into big contract extensions. Obviously, North Carolina came open this offseason. There was a thought that Kansas might come open. There's a thought that Kentucky might be open before too long. And coaches that are already in pretty good jobs have been able to parlay that into contract extensions. Tommy Lloyd at Arizona, TJ Otzelberger at Iowa State. The latest example, K-Stater Brad Underwood has agreed to a new deal on his current 6-year contract that runs through 2032, with a possibility of an extension through 2036 based on the team's performance over the next 4 seasons. The details of the contract have not been announced, but the possibility of a contract extension and the reworking of some of the financial details earned by Brad Underwood after his Illinois Fighting Illini reached the Final Four for the first time since 2005. They won the 4th most games in program history with a record of 29-8. Underwood in 9 years. I can't believe he's been there 9 years. 193 and 110 in 9 seasons at the helm of the Illini. They've been to 6 straight NCAA tournaments. I remember the day he went to Illinois. And I know we've told this story on the air before. Brendan and I were in the same place. We didn't know each other yet. He didn't work for us. He was still a student at the University of Kansas. I was working here. We were both in Tulsa. It was the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament that year. That was the Kansas. That was the Frank Mason, Josh Jackson, Devontae Grant, and Lucas team that lost in the Elite Eight to Oregon at what was then the Sprint Center in Kansas City. But the first 2 rounds, they were in Tulsa. and they played, I think it was UC Davis in the first round and slaughtered them. And I think it was the day in between games. And we were all queued up to go into the Kansas locker room on, I think it was their warm-up day, their practice day.
Yeah.
I think this is when it was. And I remember being on my phone, standing in line outside the locker room and scrolling what was then Twitter. Very different looking Twitter back in 2016, 2017. And I saw the news and I blurted out, Brad Underwood's going to Illinois. And apparently I broke that news to some pretty significant college basketball reporters who were as shocked as I was to learn that after just one season at Oklahoma State, Underwood was leaving. Like, Oklahoma State had the reputation of, once upon a time, of being a pretty good place to coach basketball. Brad Underwood got there, spent 1 year in Stillwater, and was like, yeah, I can do better. And he has. Credit to him. He has. Much to the chagrin of a good number of Kansas State basketball fans. But new deal for Brad Underwood. Give me another headline, Spencer.
Yes, next headline for me, the NCAA has gambling in the foresight once again. A former Abilene Christian men's basketball player was permanently banned by the NCAA on Friday for allegedly helping rig basketball games for sports bettors. According to the D1 Committee on Infractions, Arion Simmons, who played at Abilene Christian from 2019 to 2024, colluded with teammates and agreed with a bettor to throw a March 2024 game for money in December of 2025. In an interview, Simmons told NCAA investigators he was contacted by a second bettor about losing the game for money. In January, Simmons and the two bettors were included in a sprawling indictment by federal prosecutors in Pennsylvania on various charges, including bribery, fraud, and conspiracy. Just the point shaving scheme generally revolved around gamblers who placed bets and recruited players with the premise of the big payments in exchange. And this is we've gotten another one of these, but at Abilene Christian.
The rule is the rule.
Yeah.
The rule is the rule. You do this, you are banned for life, and that is what it should be. And there shouldn't be any exceptions made. And that's why I don't think Brendan Sorsby's ever going to play college football again. The rule is the rule. You can't mess with this stuff. It's pretty cut and dry. And especially in the case where you're known to be a game fixer, there can be absolutely no leeway for that. And that news coming out today. Let's get a PGA Championship update. Round 2 coming to a close at Aronimink in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. And your current leader by a shot after he just bogeyed his 15th hole of the day, the 6th hole. He played off of hole 10 to start. Maverick McNeely. He's got a one-shot lead. He is 4 under today on a day where not many have gone quite so low. But right now, Maverick McNeely is your tournament leader by 1 shot over Alex Smalley, who is your clubhouse leader right now. After a 69 today, he's 4 under for the tournament. And Minwoo Lee, who is also 1 under for the day and 4 under for the tournament with 2 holes left to play. 4 golfers are at 3 under, 2 shots off the pace, including the low man today, Chris Gotterup, who shot 5 under 65. He was one of the early players to play today. He was in the early grouping. Chris Gotterup is 3 under. Former Masters champion Hideki Matsuyama is 3 under. Aldrich Potgieter is 3 under. And Stefan Jaeger is 3 under par. The group at 2 under, though, how about these names at 2 under? In the clubhouse, Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Young, and 2-time major champion Justin Thomas. Also, David Puig, Spanish golfer, live guy. Young player, very talented. Don't know much about him because he plays on live, so I've never seen him play. But he's 2 under as well. But still, Scheffler and Young, 3 shots back. Also 3 shots back, still on the course, Harris English, Siwoo Kim, Patrick Cantlay, and John Rahm. Only 22 golfers are under par as it currently stands. The rest of the group under par at 1 under for the tournament. Kurt Kitayama, Aaron Rai, Andrew Novak, Jason Day, Max Grazerman, Ludwig Oberg, and unknown Aussie Daniel Hiller. Gary Woodland will not see the weekend, unfortunately. The professional sports franchise of Topeka, Kansas, followed his Thursday 72 with a 74 today. Could not recover after going out in 39 with 4 bogeys on the front. Did birdie 16 to get back to 4 over for the day, but could get no closer than that. The projected cut line right now is +4. And with so few golfers out on the course, there's no chance that line is going to get to 6. So unfortunately, Gary Woodland will not see the weekend. Others who will not see the weekend include the likes of Tommy Fleetwood, Michael Block, good old Blocky, Victor Hovland, Keegan Bradley, J.J. Spawn. And these are players, again, who will not play the weekend. Adam Scott didn't make the cut. Rough day for him. He shot a 76. Bryson DeChambeau.
Wah, wah.
Poor baby. Poor baby Bryson. He's 4 over today after his 6 over 76 yesterday in a tie for 130th.
Go get those views on YouTube. Buddy.
Yeah, go be a YouTuber, Bryson. That's all you really want to do. I ranted about that yesterday. I'll spare everybody a repeat. Max Homa not making the weekend. That's about it as far as prominent players who will not make it, although Alex Noren does need to stay even par in his final hole to make sure that he makes the weekend. But it's a good-looking leaderboard. There's some hoodats up top, but also Scotty's 3 back, Cameron Young's 3 back, Rahm is 3 back right now, still on the course. Could be a really fun weekend of golf at Arana Mink. Let's do a playoff roundup to round up our sports headlines.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
Wasn't any basketball last night, so we'll start on Frozen Pond, where there were 2 games. The Montreal Canadiens doubled up the Buffalo Sabres 6-3 in Buffalo to take a 3-2 series lead in that Eastern Conference semifinal back to Montreal. That is the only series still active after the Western Conference finals were set following the Vegas Golden Knights 5-1 win at Anaheim over the Ducks. Vegas wins that series 4-2, and for the 5th time in their 9 years of existence, the Golden Knights will play in a conference final. They, of course, have won 2 of their previous 4 conference finals visits, including in their first year as an organization, 2018. Remind me, Spencer, who did they lose to in the Stanley Cup final that year?
Wait, who? In 2018, the Capitals.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I asked you. Also, of course, they won the Stanley Cup in 2023. They will be significant underdogs against the Colorado Avalanche in this year's Western Conference final. Game 1 is set for Wednesday. Golden Knights also in the news for their post-game behavior. They declined to open their dressing room to reporters after their win last night, and head coach John Tortorella, notorious for his prickly attitude, declined to speak with reporters. The NHL really didn't like that. They stripped the Golden Knights of their second-round pick in this year's draft and fined Tortorella $100,000 for flagrant violations of playoff media relations.
That's crazy.
Torts, dude, just show up so you don't get fined, brother. Marshawn Lynch gave you the blueprint. He gave you the blueprint. Anyway, it'll be Golden Knights and Avalanche in the West. Carolina still cooling their heels, awaiting the winner of that Montreal-Buffalo series. Again, Montreal leads at 3-2. Game 6 is Saturday in Montreal.
Shout out to the Golden Knights, though, for defeating San Jose and giving the Capitals I think the number 17th draft pick from San Jose. Is it San Jose? Yeah, where they traded John Carlson.
Oh.
Yeah. So if they had won, it would have been like into the 20s.
Ah, I see.
But now it's 17.
I got you.
So 2 top 17 picks.
No basketball last night, but there are 2 game 6s tonight. Cleveland on their home floor against Detroit and San Antonio on the road at Minnesota can wrap up their respective semifinal series and set the conference finals in the NBA. That'll do it for the playoff roundup. That'll do it for our 580 Sports Talk headlines. When we come back, we'll finally get around to that gross Royals loss from last night. The kind of loss that maybe will do this team a little bit of good. We'll explain what I mean when we come back on 580 Sports Talk. 5:33 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer with you. White Sox 6, Royals 2 last night. When I said on yesterday's show, very top of the program yesterday, that it would make my job easier in the sense that it would be easier to draw the kind of broad, sweeping conclusions that make for better sports talk radio if the Royals would just go out and lose some games handily. I did not mean for the Royals to take that to mean I was challenging them to do that. That is not what I would prefer, frankly. I would rather see them win games handily so I can make broad, sweeping conclusions about the Royals being good. But no, that is not what I meant. What I meant was go win some baseball games. Royals emphatically did not win last night's game, again, losing 6-2. Old pal Randall Grichuk showing there's still some life in his bat after all. Already jettisoned by the Yankees this year. Found some new life in a White Sox uniform. Randall Grichuk, by the way, sneakily becoming a really good Immaculate Grid player.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we on now with Grichuk? White Sox, Yankees, Royals, Diamondbacks, Angels, Rockies, Blue Jays, and Cardinals. If I'm remembering right, I think that's 8 teams for old handsome Randy.
Yep, 8 teams.
Yep, there it is. How about that? Helps that he's both a Rocky and a Royal great, Randall Grichuk. But anyhow, yeah, he was a Royal killer last night. Hit the 2-run home run off of Chris Bubich. Also had a 2-run single off of Bubich. Bubich fails to make it into the 5th inning, removed after just 4 innings and a high pitch count. Precisely what the Royals did not need from a starting pitcher after both Stephen Kolek and Seth Lugo failed to see the 6th inning in the first 2 games. And the problem for Bubich has been the same 2 problems that have really plagued him this year. And he's had a nice year even with these things being issues. Pitch inefficiency. Walk rate has been a little higher. I wonder if he, more than other pitchers, has been hurt by the shifting strike zone due to the new ABS system. But also 2-out offense. Chris Bubich just can't find that 3rd out. He had 2 out, nobody on to start the first, and then gives up a 2-run home run 2 batters later. He had 2 out in the 4th and gave up the RBI single to Mydroth. That ended up making it 5-1. Maybe if he doesn't give that up, he does get to pitch into the 5th. I don't know. The pitch count was really, really high. The Chicago TV broadcast. So I watch as much of the game as I can live. And be frank, I can't always catch every pitch live because I got a kid I got to put to bed and all that.
Especially not like the first hour or so, right?
All that fun stuff. Yeah. Sometimes it's tough to catch every pitch live, but I catch replays. I catch the condensed game. Usually every day watch the condensed game just to make sure I have all of the big moments of the game fresh in my head when I get on to do the radio show. And something else that the condensed game gives you, which you can watch on the MLB app, is you can sometimes hear the opposing team's broadcast, which I'm not privy to that. I watch the Royals locally, so I hear the Royals broadcast. But it was interesting to hear the Chicago TV, I think it was the TV broadcast, talking about how there was a plan of attack for White Sox hitters against Royals starting pitchers. And whatever it was, I don't know if they elaborated later on in the broadcast. But I heard that explicitly mentioned, and I say, yeah, I guess. It must have been a pretty good one. Because, again, all 3 Royal starting pitchers failed to get past the 5th inning. So this Chicago lineup, which is young but really firing right now and gaining confidence, did an outstanding job against Royals starting pitching. And it's a trend that the Royals really can't afford. Now it's 1 quality start over the last 8 games for Kansas City. There has been improvement year over year for the Royals lineup. I don't think even if you're at your peak frustration with the Royals right now, you would still look at this current lineup and feel like, yeah, it's probably better at this point in 2026 than it was at this point in 2025. Like the numbers are pretty irrefutable there. But while the Royals lineup feels improved year over year, it's not so good. And the bullpen certainly isn't so deep that this team can survive a run like that from its starting pitching. Those guys have to get their act together. Good news is this is a fairly proven group of starting pitchers. I mean, you wouldn't say that about, this is year 2 for Noah Cameron. It's not a big body of work for Stephen Kolek either. But you've got 3 other guys with enough track record, enough good big league track record to think that they can get it turned around. But that's got to happen because this team needs that. They're not going to win a bunch of 8-6 games. Like, even if it's a better lineup, I feel better about this team's ability to win 5-3. Last year's team, you kind of felt like, well, God, if they don't win 2-1, I don't know. Like, this team can win a 5-4 or a 6-5 game. I don't think it's going to win a lot of 9-7 games. And then the bullpen, just, again, not real deep. And so it really compounds the issue that the Royals are having right now. And then you listen to Matt Quatraro after the game, and you listen to Bobby Witt Jr. after the game. I never believe that a team needs a loss, but I do think in baseball, there is that feeling that you get into where, all right, tough loss tonight, but it's no sweat. We lost by a run. That's tough, but it could have gone our way. We'll get them tomorrow. Gosh, we lost another 1-run game. That's tough, but hey, we're right there. We're in every game. We got a whole bunch of these left. Can't get too low. We'll get them tomorrow. And I think that sometimes you can get a little complacent when you lose close a bunch of times in a row. Well, last night was not a close loss. Last night was a game that after the 3rd inning, the Royals never really seriously threatened. They had the triple by Isbell and the run scored to make it. I think it made it 5-2, maybe 6-2. But there was not like a serious rally that the Chicago bullpen had to douse late in that game. That was not like a series of jabs where you lose a round in boxing 10-9. That put the Royals flat on their backs last night. And I think you could sense it. You could sense it in Salvador Perez's post-game comments, which Ann Rogers had on her game recap at MLB.com, Royals.com. You could certainly sense it in Bobby Witt Jr.'s post-game remarks. And for Bobby Witt Jr.'s part, a guy who right now is the best player in baseball for 2026, by a lot.
Yeah.
The frustration is even more acute because that's a guy who burns to win, who's standing there like, I can't do any more than I'm doing. Bobby Witt Jr. is on pace for an 11-win season, according to Baseball Reference wins above replacement. He can't do anything more than he's doing, other than get a hit every single time up, which literally nobody does. So the frustration for him is even more acute, but I think the Royals need that frustration. They need that frustration to turn into urgency because while there is still, I will continue to say it because it is just May 15th, there is a lot of baseball left to be played. A lot can change. Right now, the Royals have the same record as the Tigers. And if I told you that was going to be the case in mid-March, that the Royals would have the same record as the Tigers in mid-May, you'd think, hey, all right. Let's settle in for a pennant race. Neither of those two teams, who were the expected contenders in the division, have gotten off to the starts that they envisioned for a variety of reasons. Some different for one team than for others. But to lose a game like that ought to shock this Royals team into the understanding that they have got to execute better in every facet over the course of 9 innings if they're going to be the team that they imagine themselves to be. If they're going to be the team that they want to be. And that has to be the hope that they can reset a little bit on this trip to St. Louis. Not that these are easy games by any stretch. We'll talk a little bit about the Cardinals after we take a break here in just a minute. But the Royals have to come out of last night's game with the understanding of we've gotten socked in the nose. We're now 44 games into this season, and we are nowhere close to being what we want to be. And it's time to start executing for 9 innings. It's time to get this thing tightened up because just like you can't win a pennant in April, you can't really win a pennant in May either. But, yeah, you can lose a pennant in April and May. You can certainly lose one. And I'm not saying the Royals have done that yet because I don't believe they have. But if it continues to look like this, then they will have. So, and last night's response to the loss, at least based on what we heard, was a suggestion that the leadership on this team understands, which is all you can ask for. That and an improved effort this week.
Yeah. So we got a text from the 785. Players only meeting time if it continues this weekend.
sometimes there are some teams that works for, and there are some teams that doesn't. Every team has a different personality. So I don't know. Like, I'm not in that clubhouse. I don't know if they need to call a meeting. I don't know if they do that kind of thing, or if they are happy to just have it out individually on an individual basis. I don't know. I don't know. We can't act like, oh, just sprinkle a little players only meeting on it and then they'll win their next 7 in a row. That's not really how it works. But I do think that if that is representative of a bit of a look in the mirror, come to Jesus moment for this baseball team, do they need to have one of those, whatever form that takes? Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. We'll take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, how'd the Cardinals get good again so fast when they weren't even trying? Are they really good? They seem good. We'll talk about them next. Preview the weekend series, the I-70 series on 580 Sports Talk. .546 on 580 Sports Talk. Text from the 785. The White Sox seem to be a good-bad team, while Kansas City seems to be becoming a bad-good team, to steal some Bill Simmons terminology. Can always respect a little theft from the Boston sports guy. One of the great influences on my sports media career. That's an interesting thought. I think that's just kind of the nature of the American League Central, is that there are no like real good teams in the Central. That I think it's going to ebb and flow like this all year. Like the White Sox started 6-13, and what are they since then? 16-8, if my math is right. They've won 16 of 24. Like I think every team in the Central is capable of a long stretch of looking like dog tail and a long stretch of beating up on teams. And we haven't seen that long stretch from the Royals yet. And I'm not ruling it out, because I do think their starting pitching will find its footing. And I do think Vinny Pasquantino's starting to come along, and along with Bobby Witt Jr. playing like an MVP, I think we're going to see some good things from this lineup. But no, I think that I think you see that in the Central. You're going to see, I think, as the season goes, all of the teams in the Central look like the proverbial good-bad team and the proverbial bad-good team. Thanks for the text. Again, 785-272-9429 is the number. Royals and Cardinals this weekend. Cardinals went into this year kind of with the understanding that they weren't going to be very good. Traded away a lot of their veteran pieces. Nolan Arenado shipped off to Arizona. Gave the reins to some young players. I still don't know who their everyday left fielder is. Nathan Church, that sounds fake. Isn't that a country music guy? Nathan Church?
No, you're thinking Eric Church?
Probably. That's probably right. Like, never heard of him before. He's been playing every day in left field for the Cardinals this season. They called up J.J. Weatherholt, their first-round pick a couple years ago, gave him a job. They finally just decided, hey, Jordan Walker, you're 24 years old, hasn't worked at the big league level, but hey, the job is yours. We're just going to keep you in the lineup. Figure it out or don't. Up to you. Suffice it to say, he's figured it out. He's been one of the most valuable players in baseball with 12 home runs and a 945 OPS. Their pitching staff is not spectacular, but Michael McGreevy's had a great start to his year. The thing about the Cardinals, and they did this last year too, and I think they got off to a decent start last year, but the thing I pointed out about the Cardinals is, all right, so they got some pitchers with some decent-looking surface numbers, but they don't strike anybody out. Michael McGreevy's got a 2.10 ERA and a 6.3 strikeouts per nine. That ain't going to last. That ain't going to hold up. Dustin May strikes out less than 7 per nine. Matthew Liberatore strikes out less than 7 per nine. So this is not a team that I think pitching-wise is quite in it for the long haul because there's not really any organizational depth that they're ready to call on behind their top 5 guys who, again, are nothing spectacular, though McGreevy has certainly looked the part through 9 starts. Offensively, though, they appear to be improved. I think the Jordan Walker breakout, like this is who he was supposed to be and just wasn't there for a couple of years. Weatherholt, I think, is the real deal. I'm not surprised. I picked him to win National League Rookie of the Year. Alec Burleson is one of those like Cardinal randos who you don't hear about until they show up as a Cardinal and they OPS over 800 and you're like, this pain in the you-know-what. Like Burleson's a solid player. Do I think the Cardinals are a long-haul contender? I don't. But I do think that right now, offensively, they're putting enough good at-bats together to give some trouble to a Royals pitching staff that has had some recent trouble. It's Michael Wacha tonight against Dustin May of the Cardinals. It's Noah Cameron tomorrow against St. Louis's Kyle Leahy. And then it's Stephen Kolek on Sunday for the Royals against Andre Palante. 3 right-handers facing the Royals, which means we'll actually get to see Jack Caglione play this weekend.
Let's go.
So we got that going for us. The lineup backing Michael Wacha tonight. Michael Garcia leading off at third, Bobby Witt Jr. at short, Vinny Pasquantino at first. Salvador Perez behind the plate. Carter Jensen DHing. Jack Caglione in right field. Isaac Collins is in left. Michael Massey's at second. Kyle Isbell is in center. The lineup for the Cardinals tonight will be J.J. Weatherholt leading off. Ivan Herrera, who's off to a fine start, will DH and bat second. Then Alec Burleson at first base, Jordan Walker in right, Nolan Gorman at third. I'm still waiting for the Nolan Gorman breakout myself. I held on to him in fantasy for way too long. I'm no longer on that narcotic, and I'm really grateful for it. Mason Wynn, shortstop with a cannon for an arm. It might be the 2 best shortstop arms in baseball in this series. Due respect to Ellie Dela Cruz, who also is in the conversation. But they don't get much better arm-wise from short. You want to talk about 2 guys with hand cannons, Bobby Witt Jr. and Mason Wynn. Wynn bats 6th for the Cardinals. Then Nathan Church at left field. Loved his song Springsteen. Great bit. Pedro Pajes is the catcher, batting 8th, and Victor Scott the 2nd, the speedy center fielder, bats 9th. It's a 7:15 start tonight. Both weekend games are day games. 1:15 first pitches. Of course, you'll be able to hear them both right here. 12:30 pregame on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Texter from the 785 says, do not compare Michael McGreevy to Bob Gibson. Hey, look, the ERA looks awfully similar. That's all I'm saying. Right now, he's got a Gibson-ish ERA. It won't stay that way all year. Trust me. I wasn't alive for Bob Gibson, but trust me, I know a little bit more ball than that. Give me a little more credit now, huh? All right. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, and we'll have a final word next on 580 Sports Talk. Time to wrap it up on this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Go into the weekend with a final word. Spencer Dupuis, lead us off.
Yeah, final word for me. I'd love to know, we were just talking about this off the air. I'd love to know how the NFL schedules its preseason games, because I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like, why would you want to play teams multiple times? And I just realized that the Chiefs play week 1 and week 3 of the preseason, teams in which they play during their 2026 campaign. They host the Rams on Saturday, August 15th, and host the Seahawks on Friday, August 28th. Then they play them later on in the season.
Those are going to be very boring, milk toast preseason games, play calling wise, for sure.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, play teams in which you're not going to play at all during the year. Just can I get some? I don't know. I was going to have some whole diatribe about how I really like the schedule, but then I came upon, why are they playing teams twice that they don't need to play twice? Because you're not really going to get better if you're just going to play and you're just going to literally do what you just said. So I don't know.
Final word for me today. Very excited for the sports weekend. Got the I-70 series on the diamond. Got some regional softball, college softball to keep track of. Kansas Jayhawks are in action. So lots of good stuff going on. More NHL and NBA playoffs. I want to tell people about something cool I found. Remember how the baseball standings and box scores used to look in the newspaper? Yeah. Remember how those used to look? How aesthetically pleasing that was, and how you can't really get that anymore because, a lot of us don't subscribe to newspapers, and the newspapers just don't put that stuff in the paper the way that they used to. There is a website you can go to, boxscore.email. It's not a scam. I promise you I would not steer you wrong. Boxscore.email prints every morning an old-fashioned looking newspaper stats, standings, and box scores page.
Wow, looks sick.
Looks just like it used to when you picked up the newspaper in the morning, or you picked up USA Today or Baseball Weekly. I remember Baseball Weekly, man. I used to devour that. It's got the day's probable starting pitchers. It's got the full box scores. It's so aesthetically pleasing for you baseball fans who miss getting the newspaper and seeing that stuff. Boxscore.email. It's my favorite thing I found today. I want to send you in the weekend with something cool. We got overtime coming up. Matt Derrick's conversation will play next. This is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.